welcome to Virtually Heroes, where we're actually streaming on time for once. My name's Logan. I'm a dungeon master. I have finally guided my heroes to the first level after almost 7 or 8 months of play. And I eat, sleep, and breathe Dungeons and Dragons. And with me today are a host of miscreants, introduced in no particular order, starting with my wife looks like she's struggling. Annabelle Martin, who are you? What do you do? What do you play?
My name is Annabelle. We never say what we do like outside of the game, so I'm gonna say I do work and I'm a mom, and I do art sometimes when those other two things permit. But usually they don't. I play Arandi Wheel. She is a tiefling of Glacia with one level in Hexblade Warlock and 6 levels in
I love my son.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. I apologize for the way that the stream looks at the moment, but we will go ahead and move on while Annabelle undoes what the golem has done. Daniel Sanders, who are you? Who are you? What do you do? What do you play?
Hello, I'm Daniel Sanders. I don't think I've ever said what I do outside of this game. I am a bartender.
Hey, bartender.
What that translates into is I work late and I drink too much. But I play Cerberus Lenegoth, a fighter wizard who has school coming up. So I gotta be conscious of that.
He does have school coming up.
Yes.
Brian Roberts, who are you? What do you do? Who do you play? Who do you play? Not what do you play. I've been doing it wrong.
Yeah, I'm Brian. I do the things. I'm Jax. Jax is who I play. The druid / ranger. He's pretty cool. He has a pet basilisk named Ozzy, who's getting pretty thick these days. I'm still molding it. I'm still molding that whole thing into a thing, but soon that thing will be a different thing, and then it's gonna be thingy, and it's gonna be cool. And yeah, Jax fucks shit up. So yeah.
Just like your narration just now, I just imagine Jax, like Cerberus comes up and Jax does the whole Rick Grimes thing from Walking Down. It's like, hey Jax, what are you doing? I'm doing stuff. Things. Jordan Robinson, who are you? What do you do? And who do you play?
Hello, I am Jordan Robinson. I am an administrative assistant outside of the game. But yeah, I play Zafarius Cianadel, a Wood Elf cleric monk. Yeah, he's a clone, he's trying to figure out that shit, and wants to merge himself into one, even though he's already one. But yeah.
I actually did not know what you did outside of work, so or
Not
outside of the
gonna
game.
lie, I didn't either. So yeah.
Jordan is my secretary fetish.
Hi.
So normally in most Dungeons and Dragons streams, there's a nice, beautifully narrated recap to tell you what has happened, so you have context for the game. I don't do that. I just focus on what my players like. So we go through and do another round of talking to each player. The top 3 things that they remembered from last session. It's mostly so that I don't have to take so many notes. So starting with Annabelle Martin, top 3 things last session. You look like you're struggling.
We made it to Gresht. We are in the town of Gresht. That is where we are. That's 3 things. We did so much stuff last session, I feel like, and I've forgotten all of it.
I feel like that means I need to try
Happy
harder.
Monday Eve is really, I think, kind of the mood surrounding that. Oh, no.
Daniel Sanders, top 3 things last session. Go.
Okay, so first things first, I was able to decipher a little bit of the omnitone that I was given, which I did some homework on, and I have discovered a spell. Second, I got Chewy the Charger, and then let's see. Oh yeah, also we found Lord Renaud had apparently killed himself on a hill, depressed.
Not a good, but I totally forgot about that.
Good.
Indeed, that did happen. Jordan Robinson, top 3 things last
Well,
session.
to echo off that, I buried the said Lord Renaud. I also got a horse as well, and we ran into an old character I used to play. Well, some of us ran into him, but and we know he exists, and we kind of messaged him, and we're gonna meet up in Gresht, so we'll see how that goes.
And lastly, but not leastly, Brian Roberts, top 3 things last session. Go.
Let's see. I remember also getting a horse. His name's Abar, if I remember correctly. I think it's Abar. Yeah, he's a pretty stud. No pun intended. Yeah, so I don't know if that joke worked, but anyway, we're gonna continue. Let's see. I remember getting a wagon. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about the big wagon. You know what? I'm glad we got the wagon instead of the carriage. I think it was the next step up, because the carriage would have been cool because we'd have been like, noblemen going through. But I like the wagon better because it's more useful. And that's pretty cool for us. And yeah, I remember getting to Gresht. Yeah. I know it was basically a buying session with other stuff, but I didn't really buy
It
anything.
kind of was a utility session, so this will be more of an exploratory session probably. But yeah, so you guys, our story begins, have just crested the hill and are looking over the town of Gresht. The smoke flowing from chimneys, a few scattered lean-tos and shacks kind of on the outside of the town near the coast. It's quaint. It's quite small. Most of the buildings here, at least in Rosenald, a lot of the buildings were still stone and plaster. A lot of these buildings are made of wood, and the kind of signs that's necessary can be seen. There's not a lot of plant life around the town. There aren't any really close farms. Looks like this area probably floods semi-frequently, so the buildings might need to be repaired or replaced. And a stone building just wouldn't work for that. So, as you guys make your way down the east road coming into the town from the west, there are several locations that I noted for each of you. There is also one. There are ships in port, a few large ones. There is specifically one fairly large ship that is unfamiliar to 3 of you. Cerberus, you recognize emblems on the flag, on the sails, as the I think we had talked about it before, but as the wand of Prisman, the symbol of the Loriati state. This is a Loriati ship.
Burn it!
Sorry, you can't. You don't know any fire spells.
Damn it, you're right.
Give me one more freaking level and I'm on it.
Lightning can start fires.
Lightning can start fires.
But yeah, so the day is yours. You guys have arrived in a new town. You'll need to probably stable your horses somewhere. Um, you have provisions, but a nice warm meal after a week's worth of travel through the swamplands is probably necessary and welcome at this point. Um, there are a number of places to stay in town, things of that nature. I believe I said, Orlando, you were able to pick out a couple of signs of some seedier locales that might serve your purposes better than most. But what you do is up to you, and I will turn the game over into your very capable hands.
I'm gonna go find the tavern and the bar.
Very well. Are you looking towards the center of town or closer to the docks?
Center of town is
Center
where
of
I'll
town?
look first.
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check real quick. DC 10. It's a new town, but you know what
13.
the tavern looks like. 13, yeah. So as your cart kind of rattles over the, it's not quite a cobblestone road. There are rocks that have been pounded into the sandy dirt that kind of make up more of the indication of where a road is supposed to be so that nobody builds a house on it. But yeah, there is one kind of larger building. Most of the buildings in this town are single floor. This is a larger two floor building with a rickety, creaky sign kind of swinging in the ocean wind that is painted in this really faded cream colored lettering that reads the Wormswort Inn.
Wormswort Inn, you said?
Yes. It's kind of a squat, wide building. It's made of wood. It's got a wooden slat roof. And there is for this early in the morning, not the general sound of carousing. You can hear some activity from inside, but it's not like a party scene. It's relatively early in the day, I believe, when you guys arrive.
Well, I don't know what all plans we have for the day, but I did buy supplies before we left to make us a nice meal. It'll take about 4 hours to make, but I'm not hungry just yet, but whenever you all want to eat, I can go ahead and start making that.
I could personally go for a good meal after how many weeks of or a week of rations.
Would you like to help me out?
I don't know fuck all about cooking, but I could try.
I'll show you the ropes. It's all right.
Where are you going to be cooking at?
I can just cook over a open fire if need be. I don't know. Find a little space. Even if I gotta do it like outside of town, I'll do that.
Yeah, you would probably want to set up something like that. Just me.
All right, I'll do that.
So, once the cart kind of trundles, not necessarily into the center of town, Jax, you were able to identify it on the way in. You guys are suddenly met at the outskirts of town, about where you pull over to let Zelfarius out. You are met with a kind of low wall made of essentially sticks and trunks of thin trees that have been driven into the ground and kind of latticed together. So it's like almost like a wicker wall. Not very high, probably only about 5 or 6 feet tall. With two looks like armed militias standing outside of it. From where you were on the hillside, this really didn't look like much. But you can see as your cart approaches, from behind the wall, you can hear more voices. And from this sort of wicker gate, more heads kind of poke around. Two of the guards look you over. Good morning, my lords. What brings you into town today?
Uh, Good morning. We're just here investigating some missing persons.
Oh, aye. We've not heard about that. You sure you're in the right town?
I believe so. We were assigned with the town of Gresht.
You have any papers?
Hi, we do.
One of us
Anything?
does.
I believe it is either Cerberus or Zeltharius, one of the two of you.
I think it's me, right? Because you had the other one. So yeah, I'll pull that out and show it to the gods.
Okay. You hand him over the papers, and he looks over it, and his brow kind of furrows really deeply. Um, he looks back up at you. Ah, wait just a moment, please. And he takes the papers and goes back behind the wall, and the wicker gate's like shut. Um, there are a couple other guards standing outside, but you guys are in limbo, waiting for.
We're also, just to make it known, just kind of cruising the town and resting a bit after traveling. Uh,
The other guards kind of like cross their arms and look at you. These don't seem quite as talkative as the one slightly more charismatic fellow that addressed you. Everybody make a perception check.
16.
21.
16. 21.
19.
And
Okay. Rhonda, you're just mildly distracted, but the rest of you can pick up the sound of like. It's not an aggressive sound, but those of you who mostly Cerberus and Zelfarius, because you've served in military scenarios, you can hear the sound of weapons being picked up off of racks, things like spears and spear shafts clattering together. Before the guy comes back, no one else comes with him. Right. Well, you're welcome in the town. There have been some strange activities with some local bugbear and goblins. So the town's a little on guard. We'd appreciate, just because we're in a tight place right now, if you'd all turn in your weapons, we can have them tagged and given back to you on your way out.
I'll just look to the group. Sure.
I'll kind of like lean over to Zelfarius and just like, I've had warmer welcomes in prison.
Slight chuckle.
But I'll take off because the only weapon I have, I'll undo my focus from my staff, and I'll give them that and my rapier because that's all I have, I believe.
Yeah. So they kind of they put the orb in a bag, and the guy who takes it is like stuffs it real fast, carefully, but doesn't want to be touching it. You can sense there's more distrust of magic and magic seeming things on the outskirts of society as you get farther and farther away from places like Zealous. Like even in Rosenald, they were a little shifty about magic, and magic has to do this is like genuine fear
For just a
for
moment.
just a moment. But yeah, they just bind it up, and they take your name and then write it on a piece of parchment and just lace that to the equipment.
Keep I want to take note if I can, like who takes it and possibly where they take it.
Okay. Sure. Remove it just yet. They're collecting items from the rest of your party. Does everybody else relinquish their various weapons?
yeah, I will give them 2 daggers out of my pumpkin of holding.
So So you take them out of the pumpkin. You said you did.
It's too late to change my answer. Yeah.
Yeah. One of them steps forward. It seems you have more on you than one might assume. Can we take a look through your bag?
Do you
please?
want me to remove the rest of the daggers first, though? I can only grab 2 at a time.
We'd like to see the pumpkin, if you don't mind.
It's very fragile. Would you mind if I just? I'm very hesitant to give it to people.
I assure you, we'll be incredibly careful with it.
I don't think you understand. This is a root. This is a vegetable right here. It is technically a fruit, but it's a vegetable. Like, it's not just stylized as a pumpkin, a magic item. This is an actual.
If you would prefer not to give me the pumpkin, as strange as that sounds, you're more than welcome to keep it. But we will not be able to allow you to access the village. Too many things have gone wrong of late. We're just being careful.
To that, if I may, what all has gone on?
Well, and then the this is kind of the more stoic one. The charismatic one speaks up. Well, those bastards from the northern woods paid a couple of mercenaries to come in and unlock a bunch of doors, and the bugbears crept in at night and ransacked the town. So at first we were just wary of, the furry ones, but we're just being careful.
It's understandable.
I'm sorry. I actually do have a good few knives. It's just occurred to me. Do you guys have like a sack or anything that I could just put them all into?
Yeah, as you've been pulling them off, they've been like delicately placing them into like a burlap sack.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they kind of have, some of them you can tell they're like shetty, like flea market knives, but they do have sentimental value. I've had some of these for a long time, and I'll just start talking a lot about sentimental value of weapons as I keep pulling them out. And I really just don't think that it's right that people want to take away our knives all the time. The government. I really think big government's gonna come in. They're gonna melt them all down and get rid of them, so that if something ever happens,
I'm gonna like lean into her and be like, Arandi, I can always locate them if they want to be shady, so it's fine.
Okay, so they are going to receive, because you have one. Do you have both of the flame tongue sword thingies, right?
Yeah. Is that in
Okay.
D&D Beyond, by the way?
No, I have yet to
Okay.
make them.
They
I need to.
So the effect is the same as the flame tongue short sword. So when I was putting it in, you just told me to list to put in 2 flame tongue short swords, which obviously led to
Yeah, that's my
confusion
bad.
later.
All right.
because,
That's what I'll
Yeah.
do.
I'll make a set for you later, and you can replace it with the actual weapons.
all right. Can I make a sleight of hand check to kind of like pocket? I'm trying to see if I have any specific like poisons or anything that I don't want them to know about. But yeah, so they're going to get. I'll just go ahead and list off. Do I need to list off everything, or do we just assume that I don't have anything?
Yeah. So you guys will have to remove these things from your equipment. So definitely take note of what you've given up. And are you still refusing to turn over the pumpkin?
I'm just pulling out all of the weapons first, so that they don't think that I have anything to hide, and I do want to try. Sorry, I'm checking through to see because I have. All of these.
Okay. While you're checking, Jax, how are you handling this situation?
I'm just off to the side, just letting everything happen because I don't have any weapons on me.
You do have a sickle on your hip.
Aye, a sickle is a farming tool. It's not a weapon.
The guard that came up to you and said, "You do have a sickle on your hip," kind of crosses his arms and raises an eyebrow. We'd prefer it be in um, our hands while you're in town. It's an awfully beautifully decorated and well crafted farming tool. So
It has
Aye.
a lot of sentimental value.
And also, yeah, and also, so it's like it's like attached to my heart, you know. It's a druid, and if it gets away from me, I get weakened, you know. So all it is, it's not a weapon. I won't be able to kill anybody with this. It's not even sharp. It's just a sickle.
Spellcasting. I think it's your
It's a yeah.
druidic focus.
Bye,
roll
bye.
deception.
And I would like to assist
Roll
him
deception.
if that's possible.
You cannot. You just, technically speaking, you just ruined it for him. But I'm
20
not
not
going to
natural.
apply a negative 20 not natural. Motherfucker.
If that doesn't work for any reason, I would like to assist by rolling my own check.
There's a blank look. There's a blank look on this guy's face, especially because you're standing off to the side. Like, the main portion of the group is, like, handling the cart and the wagons and the everything. This guy, who's big and brutish, kind of narrows his eyes. Well, if it's that important, it's just one second. He turns around and begins to head back to the rest of them.
Aye, thank you.
Did you figure out what you're doing, Arandi?
I could have sworn that I had more poisons than are currently in my inventory, and I don't trust it. I've probably forgotten to list something out, but for now, I would like to try and sleight of hand. Oh, my sleight of hand is garbage.
So, firstly, you don't get to call a sleight of hand. You
Oh,
would like
okay.
to attempt to
I would
hide.
like to sneakily pocket the dust of sneezing and choking so that they don't think that I have it.
And that was in your pumpkin.
Yes, I'm assuming that everything that I don't have like actively equipped essentially is in.
Okay,
aside
so
from my
he is
pumpkin.
looking at the pumpkin because he's asking to be handed the pumpkin, so the DC for this is going to be higher.
So I'm gonna pull out a knife and the thingy. It's just
That's not going to... How you do it doesn't change the DC.
okay. I'm just specifying.
The situation is the DC. Okay, that's fine. It's a DC 18 sleight of hand check because he is actively, like, has his hand out for this thing you're taking this out of.
Godspeed.
It's only a +3, guys. I don't think I should roll this check. I don't think I should attempt it.
You've already said that you're going to try, so you have to roll now.
Okay.
You can just play it off and drop it like, you know, drop it like it's hot. So
7.
+3, right? Oh no, 7 is your.
Seven
Ooh.
total.
Ouch.
Okay. So you go to slip it in your pocket, and you feel a hand snatch the pouch out from your hand as it begins to slip.
Oh Lord, please be
And he
careful
kind
with
of
that.
tosses it and catches it.
Oh Lord, please be careful with that.
So I assume this isn't some kind of herb.
It is a dust that I happened to acquire during our last adventure. I don't know 100% exactly what it does, but I have been told that it will cause sneezing and choking. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to keep it on me. If you guys want to take it, that's fine. I just don't want you to open it. Okay? It could be very dangerous. I don't want to be misconstrued as attacking a guard when you guys open up a thing that you're not supposed to get into. So,
He just drops it in the bag.
oh Lord, please be careful. It's very loosely wrapped. I haven't. It it opens for like no reason. That bag.
The pumpkin, please.
Yes, absolutely. Can I go ahead and hand over the rest of it? The pumpkin.
Okay. The pumpkin can't be turned inside out as per a regular bag of holding. However, turning it upside down and shaking it out will do the same effect. Just because I don't want to break an item. So he does turn it upside down, begins to shake it out onto the ground. If you could tell me what falls out of this pumpkin.
A lot of weird shit. All right, so that's a weapon. Helm of teleportation is in my backpack. Adamantine scale mail.
Okay.
What looks like a potion of healing. I did miss the potion of poison. I do have 2 of those. An Ankeg carapace. 9 Ankeg eggs. No, I took out the arrows. Do ball bearings count as a weapon? If they do, I would have taken them out already.
No. And I assume it's a
Yeah,
bag of
yeah,
ball bearings and not like 1,000 ball bearings come out of the pumpkin.
Yeah, so it's 1,000 ball bearings. A basilisk claw, 15 beaks, a bell. I don't know why I have a bell. A cat, 5 candles, a crowbar, dagger.
All the
A
daggers.
flask, just an empty flask, a hammer, a hooded lantern, a lyre. Well, I guess I would have probably kept that on my person, so that won't fall out. 104 flasks of oil, a single olimberry, a 10 titans, an iron pot, 7 potions of healing. How many days worth of rations would we have gone through? Because I do have some rations in here.
5.
Yeah, so I had 5 rations. So, 2 50-feet things of hemp and rope, a 10 lengths of string. I don't know the specifics of that, but I have 10 lengths of them. 1 string threaded flask, which might count as a weapon, so maybe I already took that out separately. A set of thieves' tools, a tinderbox, 2 troll eyes, a troll heart, a troll liver, a troll tongue, 30 empty vials, and a water skin.
So from that, they take your crowbar.
Yeah, I forgot about the crowbar. I don't think about those things. I actually
They take your they take your thieves' tools and like give you a look.
Look, man, we go through dungeons. Thieves' tools are not a weird thing to have, okay? You want us to leave the big evil bad zombie king in a locked room? You think that's acceptable? No, sir. When we do a job, we do it thorough.
They gather up the rest of your things and put it back in the pumpkin. Zell, how are you handling the situation?
Just gotta give him the stuff and just gotta give Arandi like I don't want to do it. Not like the parent over a child, but just the I'm like,
So you relinquish the staff. Both staffs?
I will give them. Yeah, I'll give them both staffs. I'll give them the 2 swords. I will give them. So I have 2 daggers, but they're out of sight. I'll just see if I can. I'll give them all the stuff that's visible and see if I can keep the daggers on.
Okay. That's a deception check. This would be after Orandi's debacle. We'll say a DC.
Okay, not very good at deception, but here we go. Wow, 15. Just natural.
You managed to sneak a couple knives in. They go through your cart. I don't know what's in the cart, or if you guys have stashed anything in the cart, but we can say some of the things that you guys have already handed over, they might have taken out of the cart. They Ozzy, who gets kind of oddly aggressive about the back of the cart, but that interaction is brief.
Have his glasses on.
And yeah, it's assumed he does unless Brian states he does. And then yeah, they let Zell start up a small fire to do some cooking. What do you make?
I'm gonna make some perfectly seasoned stew with the aid of Cerberus. I think if he's all right with that.
Yep, I'm good with that.
All right. Do you have the check rules
I do.
in front of you?
I need to roll a couple of d20s, and I get advantage on both. Okay.
Dude, okay, I'm gonna ask this. If they set the pouch down with my arcane focus in it at any point during this time, and leave it unattended, could I be just made aware of that?
Yeah. So after everybody gets the things, I was like, I need to start a small fire. I'm gonna cook for my friends real quick. They're like, yeah, we prefer you do that out here and not in town. They take most of the bags back. It looks like they sent them down inside the wicker wall, like just to the left of the gate.
So I made 8 servings. So I made extra actually. But everybody gets HP equal to double their level plus their con modifier.
Thank you. This is some delicious food.
You're welcome, I try.
All right. And now, free of the weight of your weapons, you guys are allowed in through the gate. You can see just behind the gate, there's probably about 12 more guards, some of them still actively armed, some of them putting spears back on racks. Make perception checks. Actually, make insight checks. Everybody make an insight check.
Just a
What up,
question.
Arandi?
I had 2 potions of poison, which look, smell.
Yeah, they left them in the bag. They thought they were
Just
potions of
wanted
healing.
to make 100% sure.
25.
I got a 24, which is with a natural 20.
Okay. Just give me a second. Arandi, what'd you get? 30-20. Okay. I muted Dan because he's the only one who didn't.
Can I just?
Yeah, I muted Dan because he's the only one that didn't notice. I thought I would get to mute more people. These guards, Jax, they seem very on edge. You get that much. And that stands out to you because there are a lot of them and there are not a lot of you. Orandi, you notice specifically that there's this definite reluctance as the guy that seems to be in charge. He doesn't have anything displaying that he's in charge. But he does seem to be running the show and talking. He seems reluctant to hand that piece of paper back, the quest details per se. He does, but there's just something in his musculature. There's like a hesitation or a resistance in his arm when he gives it back. Zalfarius, you don't notice that. What you do notice is much more blatantly apparent, but somehow, just given the situation, the way these people carry themselves is the most hidden. None of them seem to be wearing a matching uniform. They all seem to be militia. They all have a semblance of having matching gear. But upon closer detail, like maybe a lot of the armor is similar, but the clothes that they wear under the armor is all sort of ragtag and cobbled together. They don't seem to be well organized, so it's normally, at least if for a town watch, like their garments will be sourced from one person, so they'll be kind of somewhat uniform. But that's what you guys notice as you pass through the gate and your horses begin to pull your cart to the center of town towards that tavern that Jax had seen earlier. So, I have to go let my brother in real quick. So I'll be right back. You guys can ruminate over that as you pull into the center of town.
So, did you guys notice that that guard seemed a little bit reluctant to give me back that writ, which apparently he gave back to me?
No, but I did notice that they don't seem to be well organized, and also they're not matching.
Yeah, that's a little bit shisty to me as well. It's almost like they're cobbling together something to hopefully resemble a matching guard outfit. And maybe that just means the town is poor, but there's also a chance that maybe these are cobbled together from some former pirate conquests. If that makes sense, I'm a little bit concerned. Out of curiosity, should I go back and steal our weapons back?
No, let's not draw too much attention to ourselves just yet.
Well, I mean,
Um,
we have to draw attention to ourselves. I could go in invisible with my pumpkin, put the stuff into the pumpkin. Pumpkin's invisible because I'm invisible, and then out of there.
I actually am with Orandi on this one because I would not. I would rather not walk around trying to solve a missing persons case where there's probably going to be a fight without my focus.
And if it makes you feel better, I can leave almost all of my stuff. I really just would like to grab one or two of my daggers.
That's what
Really,
I was about to say. Maybe just grab a couple. We don't
yeah.
want
I
all of
had a
our
look
things
of stuff.
missing.
Oh
so.
yeah, for sure. But what about you guys? What would you like to? If I were to maybe make a list real quick.
For me, it's just the focus.
I actually don't need anything. I'll kind of look around. Are there people like guards around? Or are there people
Nah,
watching us? Like, what's the
There are townsfolk.
push to talk?
There are the. Is my push to talk not working?
It's working.
I can't
Can
hear.
anybody else hear me?
Hold on, I'll leave and come back.
Oh, like I can hear you in the headsets too, not just like.
Dan,
There you are.
Dan and Brian can hear me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So. No, there are townsfolk, and they don't seem as like zombified and strange. In retrospect, as the people from Rosenall did. They seem poor. And tired. But there are people about, and occasionally you'll see. It's hard to make them out because they don't look like uniformed guards. When they're not all together, they blend in much more easily to just kind of the humdrum of daily life in the village. But occasionally, the presence of a weapon makes itself known. Something that's relatively common for you guys because Zealous normally allows like open carry of weapons and things like that because of the peacekeepers. But here in this place, it becomes blatantly apparent that a spear is out of place, and they're mostly spears. And it's not a lot, but just looking down this road, you can see one a few hundred feet off, and then one further up on the other side of town. You can see, so there is a presence, and it's masked mostly.
I'll just kind of whisper to Randy, you'd be proud of me. I have 2 daggers on my person. So, I'm okay. I don't think I need my staffs.
I am
And
proud of you, Zelfari. It's good work.
I
I
try
don't
here
really
and
need
there.
any daggers myself. I can just make them. But it's that one dagger you gave me. It's sentimental to me, so I'd really like to have it and keep it. Also because it does a lot of damage once a day. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you're going to go do that, just be careful.
I'll just
I,
wait until nightfall. I'll just wait until because it'll be a change of the guard too. So do you
all
guys
right.
just in case? Do you guys want me to like off any of the guards that were there so that maybe nobody recognizes what weapons we had?
No, let's get our bearings and see what all's here before we cause chaos.
Got you.
I should also mention that pretty much if be prepared, but we'll get questioned if the arcane focus goes missing because I highly doubt a lot of wizards come through.
That's true. Could we perhaps like get you a different arcane focus?
It, technically yes. Or I really don't need it. If you guys would allow me to look for some material components, I could still cast. I just
Yeah, but don't you need stuff like bat poop and like lizard eyes or something? I mean, that's kind of probably going to be obnoxious to come across. Whereas, I mean, I might have something. I don't think I do really. I don't wear a whole lot of um, arcane focus quality jewelry or anything. So, but I could just buy you like a pretty amulet or something. I'd be happy to get you something, and then it would seem like a gift from a friend, and so then it hopefully would not come across as odd.
that that might work.
Or like a ring, big ring with a big stone in it.
A ring.
Oh,
I do. And uh, but I could also check to see if there's like a magically inclined shop around that might have something of a stone like that that I could use.
Oh, possibly. My only fear is that if they're taking arcane focuses at the door, or at the gate, I guess technically, um, we might not find any kind of shop that's peddling those sorts of goods, but it's definitely worth a shot. And worst case scenario, you could actually, do you have money? Can you afford like to get an arcane focus for yourself?
Yeah, yes. I mean, I do have to hold on to some money
Well, I
for
mean,
when we get back, but
I've got plenty of money. I'm happy to just buy you something if you want. You can have whatever you like.
You can buy me something.
Oh, certainly, Jax. What is it that you're needing?
Probably some ale at this point.
I can do that. I think you treated me to ale the other night, so I think it's only fair as well.
also, oh, sorry.
I'm done.
Just a quick question for the DM. Ooh. So Gresht, would I know anything about the guard, so to speak, like how they're organized, how they should be organized? Like, do these seem not
So
like they are the guard?
they do. They seem so a town's militia is normally like a band of citizens or a citizenry consisting of possibly around 10% of the population um, that essentially are kind of more like volunteer, like firemen or something like that. And most of the time, there are posts or watchtowers that are erected that these individuals operate out of. It's more like a neighborhood watch than any kind of military installment. Um, but it looks like there was a wall erected relatively recently. That's something. Um, it seems to be a really strange situation. Whether they're the town's guard or not, if they are, then they're taking steps past what's normal, and they're responding to something with more zeal than is typical of your regular volunteer night watchman. However, you guys did see bugbears on the way here. You know they're in the area, and they are a kind of goblin, so they aren't necessarily friendly. But they don't seem to be the same as your typical village guard or
And
standing.
then who were we supposed to go to? Because I don't think I wrote that part down for our contact.
You were supposed to meet with someone named Brule the Big at the Wormsword.
Well, should we go find this Gruel the Big?
I
Sure.
All right.
You guys make your way into the center of town. A couple of things of note as you pass through the road you're on. To your left, just as you come into the town proper, very large house. Stands probably a few floors above all the surrounding houses. Is opulent, has banners waving in the wind. Two chimneys that kind of billow smoke up into the sky. Situated behind a temple that's constructed similar to the one in Rosenald. There was the Temple of the Wheel in Rosenald, which was in worship to the cyclical deities that control seasons. So Aldir, Narfine, not Kibris, Kira, and Ibis. This is a larger temple, older, in front of which is a statue of a maiden who whose form almost seems kind of fluid, like the way that things flow together is kind of almost like a carved liquid, to the point where the statue sort of resembles like an ice sculpture in its surface. But the maiden has like a shroud over the face and is in kind of more of a dramatic, melancholy pose. If anybody wants to give me a religion check to
Oh,
identify.
also, I was looking over Tasha's, and because you all are with me, you have proficiency in religion checks.
Nice. Then for me, that would be a 23.
Okay.
It's on my end.
18.
What was that? It. Daniel, what'd you get?
26. Sorry.
Okay, cool. It just cut up a little bit. 23, 26. You say 13 or 18, Brian?
18.
Okay.
7! Rolled a 4.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, Farius, this isn't a dragon.
Eh,
You barely consider it a god.
that's still good.
Yeah. This is from the Havenheim Pantheon, which is separate from the Draconic Pantheon. The rest of you identify the statue relatively easily. This is Zana, who is the Tempest Maiden, famous for being, I believe, the first god who perished or died, threw herself into the sea, and was not seen or heard from, and is one of the more esoteric and unresponsive deities in the Havenheim Pantheon. Like Zemir makes his presence very known. He has a direct influence in his followers' ceremonies. Zana is more like the concept of luck. Like, her worship is more akin to a self-fulfilling prophecy than to any kind of direct divine intervention. But is prominent in port towns and has her place here, facing the ocean. Um, so you pass by the large mansion, you pass by the temple. There is an open market. Farmers from not directly around town, but from a little ways out of town, have open stalls of goods and things of that nature. Mostly fish. Decent amount of fish here. And then as you pass left across the temple and up north, you come into a second square of stalls. And passing through that, again, more fish. There's a small square. Upon the north corner sits the large squat building. Not necessarily ramshackle, just not very beautiful, of the Wormswort Inn. And this is where my narration earlier, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of activity in here, would actually come into play, because I forgot you guys were stopped outside. But yeah, so pushing the door open, directly to your right, there's a wall. To your left, there is a large open dining area with a few tables scattered about. In the back left corner of the room, next to some large oaken barrels, there is what appears to be a dugout sand pit that is just full of this dry, sandy soil that looks to have some freshly spattered crimson across it. Directly next to this sand pit is a large half-orc who kind of sits idly at the end of the bar and is currently chugging in a usually large pint glass. Or just like this incredibly large pint.
Or like a half gallon glass.
Kinda, yeah. To the left, so in the frontmost corner of the building, there is a large fireplace. And scattered about this dining area, there are some old, like salty sailor type characters. And immediately, you guys are greeted by this bounding sound. This like, I need all of you to make dexterity checks. So assume that we'll also assume that you park the cart outside.
Is it a saving throw or just a regular dex check?
This would be we'll just say a regular dex check.
Out of curiosity, is this considered a check made as part of combat?
Not really.
Cool. I got a natural one, so 3 total.
7.
14.
Nah, dirty 20.
Okay, so Cerberus from his pristine outfit, and Jax from just naturally knowing animals immediately dive back out the door as simultaneously Orandi and Zalfarius are flattened by 2 large, fuzzy, slobbering mastiffs who immediately begin licking over your face and armor and just like incredibly happy.
That's a good boy.
dogs. Yeah. And from inside, you hear a voice. Oi! Get back in here! I'm sorry about that. And this kind of portly gentleman with this like frizzed out white wispy beard just to the sides, sort of like a short cap, and just this large swaying kind of waddle comes over and pulls with these sort of thick, meaty hands, grabs the collars of both dogs, and gently but firmly lifts them. Just these 2 hulking mastiffs, like their puppies, just lifts them off of you. He's a short guy, probably only about maybe 5'2", so possibly like just from his build, he's almost like a very large dwarf. But he kind of puts them to the side, pats him on the head, dusts off his hands, and then the dogs immediately go back to play in front of the fireplace. And he helps the 2 of you up and says, "My apologies. Here," and pulls you up. And they're a handful, to be sure. New faces in town. Nice to meet you. Please pardon. My name is Carrick Bursk. I'm a fisherman here in town. What brings you in? And can I buy you a drink? for
Carrick
the rudeness?
Burst?
B-I-R-S-K, Bursk.
Bursk. Ah, gotcha.
Um, well, it's certainly no harm done. I don't think I've gotten to interact with dogs that large in quite some time, not since I was a lass, so I certainly don't mind. But anyone willing to pay for my drinks is welcome to do so.
Oi, brew. Looks like we got 4 pints, please. And then you guys just hear as from around the corner, this huge silhouette begins to kind of rock itself behind the bar, sort of sidling sideways because the bar isn't quite big enough to fit his form. Whereas Carrick has these sort of like thick forearms and like this strapping kind of veiny, tendony neck from just like a lot of labor, and is kind of a big guy in his own right, is still a normal-sized person. The person sidling behind the bar stands probably 8 to 10 feet tall. It's hard to tell, with this very well-groomed and braided large red beard and sort of long shoulder-length red hair that's like pulled back and then flares out over the shoulders. Big green tunic, kind of a dirty apron tied around, and these massive hands that scoop up pints almost like thimbles from the back, and then flips the taps over with his just a thumb, like a switch, and fills each of your pints, and then with the backs of his hands just slides them over the bar and sort of gives you like a nod quietly, and then goes back to wiping out this large metal-bottomed pint glass with relatively clean rag. Carrick picks up the pint glasses and sets them on the table. So, new in town. Tell me about your travels.
Oh boy, do we have some stories. Man, we just came from Rosenald, if you know where that is.
I'm familiar with the map, not the place itself.
Well, let me tell you, it was a freaky place before we came through. We're some strange people, so I think in comparison, these guys were really off. But it turns out that they had been plagued by the embodiment of a spell, because some dude made a deal with a hag or something, the lord of the town, and from that, basically, I'm not sure of the details entirely. You guys can give more information if you remember exactly what happened, but yeah, basically he made a deal with the hag, and the hag created, it sounds like it was kind of a genie wish sort of thing. She created this embodiment of a what was the spell, Cerberus? You're our wizard. You would know.
It was
Some
it was modified memory, wasn't it? It
Yeah,
modified
Yes.
memory.
that sounds right. Yeah, so all of these people, their children and their loved ones were going missing, and they couldn't remember that they were not there. Like they couldn't remember their family members. Luckily, we saved a lot of the townsfolk, but you know this had been going on for, I mean, we don't even know, potentially generations. So yeah, we went down and we slew that beast, and also slew a couple of trolls while we were at it, and then after no longer being affected by the spell, the lord of the land, as we were leaving, we found him on his, looks like he had taken his own life. Probably from the regret of it all. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff. But they're all good now, and it sounds like they're trying to recuperate emotionally. Obviously, they've experienced some great losses, but oh boy, and let me tell you about this thing. I've never seen a creature like this, and I've been myself, I've been to Circleheim. I've seen some
I'm
creatures,
gonna elbow her.
but and then I'm just gonna go in. I'm gonna go and describe the Eulalock to him.
Okay.
in just great detail, and then also describe
I-
our battles with the Yule.
He does sit and buys himself a second drink for the story. Uh listens intently and politely, laughs and gets serious at the appropriate times. Well, sounds like you're all quite accomplished. So what brings you to the edge of the continent then? Since you seem to be, no offense, but more mainland focused.
Can I roll an insight check on him?
You cannot call for a check, but you can tell me what you'd like to find out.
I would just like to see if I can understand maybe his motivations a little bit better. Like, is he really just interested in knowing more about kind of the outside world? Is he kind of interested in kind of checking into us because we're new in town and he doesn't trust us? Is he maybe a little bit shisty and wants to make sure that we're, not potentially thwarting plans that he and maybe whoever he's allied with?
I was gonna say if this helps, because I was gonna do it kind of like as she is doing this. I'm just gonna ask him. You seem to be very interested. I mean, we're new and all, but what? Why are you so curious? Like,
Okay, you can. I'll give in his answer, and then you can roll an insight check on his answer. Oh, well, when you've been on the sea for a while, port towns kind of all have the same story, and newcomers are kind of a rare treat. So, it's more educational to hear stories from places you don't get to go when you're on a boat. Roll an insight check.
me? Okay, I thought so.
Orandi.
13.
He seems to be mostly on the level. He's a salty sea dog, so he's a little inherently untrustworthy in this setting. But he seems genuinely interested in news from the main.
Well, we've just got this writ. We're with the Arbiters of Prospect, so we're just doing a couple jobs, trying to make some extra coin.
Hey, it's necessary in these times. And then from the sort of back, closer towards where the dogs and the fireplace is, another gentleman pipes up. Carrick, leave them alone. Let them get to the drinks. You're always such a blowhard. And it's this old man. He's got like most of his face is sunken. He obviously has no teeth, and is missing an eye. He's kind of like a skinny looking guy, dressed in like sailor's garb and things of that nature. Carrick hucks a pint at him, misses unfortunately, and then turns to the rest of you. Well, I best be getting back to me crew, but if you have any questions about the town or need shown around,
Oh,
you know where to find me.
sorry. Before you
And
go,
Yeah.
what ship do you sail on?
I actually hadn't written that down.
Google's random ship name
Right.
generator.
The salty dog.
Random ship name
Yeah.
generator.
I'm aboard the Haversham.
Haversham. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. As he turns and goes back, you can see.
Sorry, where's he going
I-
back to?
Just next to the fireplace.
Okay, I'm actually gonna follow him that way, with my drink, and I'll strike up a chat with him.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave
The
and come
dogs.
back.
The dogs like.
Flag.
Say that again.
So sorry, I'm gonna leave and come back real quick because I'm getting some like really bad lag on everybody. So I'll be right back.
Okay. So the dogs immediately start like spinning around and weaving like around your legs, which they're huge dogs, so that's an issue. Better, Dan?
Yes, I think you in particular were a solid 10 seconds behind.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. So you continue to his table. There aren't any open seats at his table. There are other gentlemen sitting there. There's the gentleman who spoke up. There's another gentleman who hasn't really made much of himself known. He's kind of sitting as in the corner as one can be. Wears kind of a long black ponytail and is under like a very basic sort of canvas cloak. Is wearing a pretty solid set of brigandine armor. Has sort of this pointed black beard. Jordan, your faces
Sorry.
while I'm narrating make it hard to narrate. But yeah, has his hair pulled back in a long black ponytail. Has this kind of like pointed beard and mustache. And just sits like watching quietly.
So, out of curiosity, you said you're a sailor on the Habersham, right?
Yes.
Sorry, lads. Do you mind if I grab? I don't even really need a chair. I'll just sit on the table here, and I just kind of like
Oh, it's
sidle
no
up.
worry, little missy. And the really old gentleman like stands up and pulls his chair out for you.
Oh, no need for any of that. Sit back down. Sit back down. And I will.
Please, I insist.
Well, I insist that it's truly bad form to take someone else's seat. I'm perfectly fine just sitting on the table, and I'll just kind of like, basically, you know how people like they like lean on the table, kind of. You know what I mean? Like you put one butt cheek on the table.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of do that, and just kind of while I'm drinking my ale, and but yeah, I'll say. So, you said you're a sailor. Do you all sail just up and down the coast? Do you ever go up along the Bacchus River at all?
No, we mostly sail the trade route between here and Rayavia.
Right? Well, yeah, that's a pretty far ways away, isn't it?
Aye, but what we don't sell in Portianros, we make a decent bit down here. Not so much up into the Bacchus and Yorath, but I was up that way in my youth, and it is a nice ride.
It is. That's actually originally where I'm from, so I'm always looking for news of the homeland. But Dry is Clea, that's a very different sort of area. What all do you guys generally pick up? What sort of goods? Out of curiosity, anything exotic?
Oh, mostly we ship metals that have been mined from the mountains there. The trade for metal that's not mined by the dwarves is fairly coveted. It's cheaper. They charge quite a bit in Maradun for what they pull out of the stone. So we make a bit of money there, and then places down here that only have access to mountains on the edge of the waste do prefer metal. It's not so dangerous to come by. Are you a tradesman of sort? Are you interested in business?
Oh, I'm just a curious sort. Your friend here seemed like he was as well, so I figured I'd see what stories sailors had. You guys travel quite a bit, I'm sure. You know, it's the same routes back and forth. It might seem like, any other day to you.
Oh, Missy, it is not the same route. The sea is never the same every time you're on it. And he begins to regale you of these sightings of leviathans and strange creatures of the deep and storms, and does occupy quite a bit of your attention. The other gentleman just watches you and the rest of your
Black bearded gentleman.
I've just been kind of like
Yeah.
eyeing them in return. I'd like to flip open my spell book and blatantly start casting Detect Magic.
Okay, can you do that without a focus?
Yeah, so as long as I've got my spell book, it doesn't require any material, just vocal and somatic.
Right. Yeah. So you cast Detect Magic. The only person with magic on them is Carrick. You can see
Yes,
the aura, right?
I get the school of magic, I believe.
You'd see mine too. Sorry, I just
Yeah,
wanted
the
the two. Mine would light up. I got the 2 daggers that are magic.
yeah. So you see the 2 daggers on Zalfarius. You see a similar silhouette tucked in the shirt of Carrick. So down the front, somewhere strapped to his chest, there seems to be some sort of mildly ensorcelled dagger. But the rest of them seem fine.
Okay. I'll just take note and continue listening.
I'm drinking. Matter of fact,
Okay.
aye, Barkeep, I'll take 2 more, please.
The huge bartender at the back nods and then holds a finger up, or holds 2 hands up. One sort of thick bratwurst-like finger is sort of shoved in the direction of the regular pints, and then the other one on the other side is pointing towards the large gallon tankards that sort of fit his hands.
I'm going to go ahead and cast not cast, but I'm going to use an action. I'll probably look a little bit distracted in the middle of this old man's tale for about 6 seconds to establish psychic whispers with me and my my party.
Okay, for how long?
I am figuring that out right now. I apologize.
Was that a question to
It's all
me,
good.
by the way?
It was. He wants to know if you want 2 regulars or 2 larges, basically.
I think you know the answer to that one, yeah?
Underneath the like large bushy mustache and beard, like the mustache like curls up just a little bit at the corners, and he grabs 2 of these like large barrel-sized pints, and slides them over to you. So those are, I forget, they're priced in gold.
They're expensive.
They're like
yeah.
5 gold a piece.
These are 4 or 5.
I'll take 3 then.
He goes ahead and pours you another one. Quiet. He's a very quiet man. But yeah, so you have three gallons of a kind of a thick, groggy, sort of almost like a bad, cheap, watered down beer that has been sort of reinvigorated with probably some exotic rum, like just tainted with it. But it's a thick, dark substance, and it gets the job done. It's not the most delicious, but it's not terrible.
I'll kind of just be. Oh, good.
Sorry, just a quick note. My Psychic Whispers is active for the next hour, and I will send everybody a quick message out. It's equal to my proficiency bonus, so just each of you guys, that's 3 people. And yeah, I'll just basically be like, hey everyone, you can talk to me in my mind. Just let me know for like the next hour or so, probably.
I like to say I out loud. I.
The table that Arandi's sitting at, all 3 of them kind of look at you, and then the really old, wrinkly gentleman just starts up.
I was just gonna, Rondi, just a heads up, but that character fellow has a dagger on his chest.
I'll just keep smiling and looking at him. Good to know. Thanks, Cerberus. Obviously, in my mind.
Okay. How long do you guys wine and dine this group of sailors?
I'll probably listen for a couple more minutes, but then I would, at some point, I'd like to turn and go to the bar and talk to Brule.
I was going to get to that, yeah.
All right, so we'll assume that the 2 of you kind of give like the look over, the nod, and then you both like stand up simultaneously but subtly as Jax is drowning himself because of the size of the pint and the size of a Jax. Kind of has to like stand up a little bit on the chair and like tilt himself in just to start so he doesn't spill it. Go ahead and roll me a Constitution with advantage. DC 20. Just because of the volume of you that you're
Jax,
consuming.
how tall are you?
I think like 4 foot.
How tall is one of these mugs?
4'4" is how tall I am.
Well, okay, he's 4'4", and the mugs are probably about 1.5 feet, 2 feet tall.
We need part of this.
About a foot maybe. Foot and a half. But the chair is set up for a larger person, and the tables are a little bit taller than standard tables anyway, so he still does have to get up there to do it. What'd you get on your con saving throw?
Well, first one's an at one. 18, 20 is my second one.
20 is your second one. So you take a big swig, and at first you swallow, and it sticks. It's a little bit of a thicker drink than you were anticipating. You swallow hard, and it goes down, and you just get right back to it. So that's the first one down. Go ahead and give me the second one, just because you've had him for a second before Cerberus and Zalpharius go up to talk to Rule.
Still with advantage, yeah?
Still with advantage, but this will be a DC 22 because you're now on your second.
It has to be a nat 20 to pass this, by the way.
You got this.
That is not a pass, no.
Okay, so you're just drunk. You're poisoned, so your checks are at disadvantage. But you're feeling good. This is some good brew. Only thing that can make this better is if you had the same tankard, but full of Aleva juice. It's a good time. You got all your friends here. You're making new friends. There are dogs. Oh my god, there are dogs. It's kind of one of those sorts of drunks.
Quick
But
question.
yeah, and then your friends leave you. Like your friends stand up. Yeah.
You said disadvantage against poison. I have advantage against poison, so does that mean it'll be straight roll?
You were rolling with advantage. I was assuming you were rolling with advantage.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
I'm.
Your disadvantage against. No, so that doesn't count. You have advantage against being poisoned. You don't have straight rolls on the effects of being poisoned.
Okay. Perfect.
So, no, your checks and attack rolls will still be with disadvantage. But yeah, so you guys stand up, head up to the bar. Rule sort of gives this like deep nod.
Hi. I just had a couple questions for you, if you don't mind.
Do you mind me asking the nature of the questions before I agree to
I'm
anything?
just- Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna elbow Cerberus real quick, like just a slight like.
Mostly it was just curiosity on my part, but we also have another reason. I believe you are a contact we're supposed to meet. We're with the Arbiters of Prospect. We're here about missing persons.
Okay, he looks around the bar. And there's a moment where he stops.
Right, about the potatoes. Come take a look in the back and you tell me if you want a full order or...
It's like very bad at this lying thing, obviously, but kind of pulls part of the bar up. There's this huge creaking sound. The hinges are like barn hinges, but he just lifts it and ushers you guys back.
The black bearded man. Well, firstly, does he fit the description that Hunaksu gave me as Score's guard?
Hunak Foom? He
Okay.
doesn't. I don't believe.
Okay. All right.
Or no,
And then
he
I
does,
want
he
to
does.
watch
My
like
bad.
I want to make it not seem like I'm watching him, but I'm watching him, like just to see his reaction to.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me just a perception check while you're talking to Brule.
I was gonna use guidance, but that was a natural 1, so that's an 8. Rolling really shitty.
8. The only thing that you can tell is that when Cerberus mentions missing persons, his eyes are definitely on you. Like he is.
Can
watching
he
you guys.
hear? Is he that close?
You're not sure with that kind of perception
Damn it.
roll.
All right.
You're not sure if he's been. You're not sure if he's been being like if he's watched you since you stood up from the table, or if he just like looked at you. But he is watching, and you guys are ushered. The space is small. The space is smaller in here than it was behind the bar, and this large man has to kind of like bend his neck in order to be in this space. You can see under the stairs that lead up to the second floor. So this room has an alcove that is under the stairs that lead up to the second floor. And that alcove on the floor basically has like a giant straw mat, like a mattress, with some thick blankets and things. But this appears to be where he lives and works. There's a small sort of cook stove and chimney, hearth type setup with a pot of soup. And as you guys come in, he picks up a slat, like a piece of wall, essentially, like some boards and wood, and like presses them into place as a door behind you. And turns around, and there's a different expression. The sort of stoic, hard to read, large presence that he had immediately sort of melts into just a semblance of worry.
Right. So my message got through. I was beginning to think that the guards had caught my messenger.
This is a whisper at this point for him.
So, what all got to you?
Just pull out the writ, and then kind of mention the few experiences we've had, like just how the guard seemed weird and.
I have the writ. They gave it to me.
Oh, I thought he gave it to me. You just noticed that he was off.
He gave it back to
Oh,
Zilpharis.
okay. I could have sworn that you said that they gave it back to me. I was really confused about that earlier. Okay, never mind.
Yep. No, you were just watching. But yeah, he takes it, looks it over.
Right. Well, so, the guard, we don't know where they came from. And they came on the West Road. There was a ship that came in and out of port for a while. The Haversham. A friend of mine had noticed some people being loaded onto the ship. But, he's been gone for 3 or 4 days now. And Haversham hasn't left port in a couple of weeks. We're not all sure what's going on, but we're not allowed to leave. Aside from the farmers who are escorted home and watched. We're not sure why they're here or if the guards are related to the Haversham. We've never seen the crew talk to any of the guards. They mostly stay on the ship, aside from the 3 you've seen. That man with the ponytail's their captain.
Are we relaying this to Arandi as it's being said?
You can.
Does his name happen to be Skorsgard just out of curiosity.
I and Carrick Fellows is or not Carrick. I'm confused. Oh, the other one is his first mate.
The older gentleman, correct? All right.
All right. Okay. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that.
Let me get this straight, just so we know we're looking in the right place. Was there an actual attack on the town, or was that just something that was made up to allow these gods to come in here?
You mean the bugbears?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there was we think it was the guards that helped him in. It was before the wall went up. They claimed that they had let some human folk in, and that they had left with some goods, but we never saw any bandits or anything, just bugbears. Thing is, there's a fuck lot of them, and at some point, we're not sure that it was them or the bugbears, but a lot of the arms and armor we did have in town went missing. And we're not entirely sure that the guards were all. They might be mercenaries hired by the mayor, but no one's talked to the mayor in weeks.
Really? Why is that?
He's just holed up in his house. We've seen him. We've seen him go past the windows, and he sends people out for shopping for food. But he's mostly stayed inside.
Sounds like a me. It's
Sorry, what did you say?
To me, this situation sounds like the perfect storm. You take a mayor captive, you let him have his freedom, he calls in these guards, and then they get to kidnap and steal from the town as much as they want.
Well, unfortunately, it's hard to get word out, and this is it's a trade town for a lot of the south, but the carts, goods that go out are all controlled by them, I believe. The missing people have been going on since before the guard were here. There used to be a ship would come in called a weird Clean name. But my friend Martin.
Sorry.
It's hard not to smile at some of these. Yeah, it's cool, Jordan. Just shut the fuck up.
My friend Martin said he saw some people being put on there, but we haven't seen the Dread Glow in over a month. And Martin had a habit of sticking his nose where it didn't belong. There's also been some bit of a tussle or some sort of commotion at the old temple on the cliff. That was 5 days ago. It's been silent since then.
Wait, okay, I have a question. Are you guys at the bar, or did you move to a different location?
They are in a different location. I am at the bar.
So I'm at the bar just drinking myself to sleep then, pretty much?
I would assume that Arandi is basically relaying this information to you.
Yeah,
She's kind of your...
Okay.
I'm still, like, kind of listening and essentially, like, trying to... I'm gonna be honest, DM. That magic knife has really got me attracted to this man. So I am going to just laugh at all of his jokes and, you know, be very feminine for once. And I'm going to eventually hope to get him horribly sloshed and convince him to take me back to his room. And then before that, at some point after I've separated him from everyone else and gotten him into his bedroom, my plan is to psychic knife him into unconsciousness while he's turned around, so that he thinks that he had passed out drunk, and then I can just take his knife and leave.
Okay, roll a deception check just to attempt to get him drunk without him noticing that you're trying to get him drunk.
I don't have.
DC 15.
Oh, yeah, that's a 20, not natural. I have a plus 10 to deception, so.
Okay, so you're starting. Yeah, your starting of your plan is going well. Jax, what did you want to do?
I was just wondering if Rhonda, you were relaying this to everybody or keeping it
Yes.
yourself.
So for me, pretending to be attracted to a man really just, I think Arandi's only real understanding of it because she spent most of her life in hell, so she doesn't really know a lot, but she knows men like boobs. So she's gonna, like, kind of draw attention to her boobs a lot, like twirl her hair or something, I guess, and just laugh a lot and be silly. But yeah, it doesn't require a lot of like thought and actual paying attention to either of these people that she's interacting with. So I'm gonna be spending like the entire time like just basically not quite paying attention to what they're saying and just being like pretending to be really interested in them. And I'm just gonna straight up just be like the cell phone for everybody, basically.
So you are aware what Brule is saying.
More importantly, what I meant was, are you relaying your plan to seduce this guy?
Oh, yeah, I'll probably have a moment where somebody. I imagine that doing two things at once, Arandi's probably not very great at multitasking. So I imagine there's gonna be a point where like I'm just gonna stop in the middle of what I'm saying and I'll be like, "Oh, sorry, Jax. By the way, and guys, everybody, sorry guys. By the way, I really want to see what this magic knife does, so I'm gonna try and steal it to by seducing him."
Even
Yeah. I'll just
even like metagaming aside, I'm probably sitting alone at the bar anyway, so I'm drunk, so I'm probably gonna try and find someone to drink with.
These guys are some drinkers. If you wanna come on over here, absolutely feel free. I would appreciate the help. These seem
Yeah, the only people in the bar right now are those three, and then a blonde woman who seems to have been speaking to the three of them before Orandi came over and kind of had left in a huff and is just sitting next to the large orc. Because there's the large half orc as well.
and
The orc. Okay, well, firstly, and just really quick, I'd like to pick all the stuff. I assume right, like I can pick all three of them up with.
So at this point, you're on your third. You've already finished two.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's how you are, as drunk as you are, and you are working through your third beverage, but there are empties.
Is there? All right. Well, I would like to. So since Brule's gone, is there like another person serving alcohol, or do I have to wait till Brule gets done?
There is not presently anyone else in the building.
In that case, I'd like to go back and pour my own, and I will.
just
I'll
some money.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. As you do, the orc kind of looks up.
Hey, pour me one.
Oh yeah, and I'll just slam down like 20 gold or something on the table, and pour more.
Okay.
Right.
And then, yeah.
Thank you.
And then I'll take them all over to the half orc and the lady. Give them some.
She thanks you, and then begins drinking. And it's really not hard to see that her drinking is mostly feigning drinking. She doesn't seem like much of a drinker, but she does take an interest in you. She's like, So, what's your name?
My name is Jax, yeah?
Nice to meet you. And you're new in town, you and your friends?
Yeah, we just got here after a long journey. We're just, poking our heads around, kind of scoping out the town, seeing how the people are.
Well, there's not much to see here, but I could show you around if you're interested.
Oh, like a tour? Yeah, sure, we can go on a tour.
Sure. Are you free now, or should I come back later?
For the tour, we're just going to walk around the town, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm, hey, I'm drinking right now. Perhaps, you know what? Let me just, let me do something really quick, and then we can go, yeah. And I'll just like pick up the rest of however much a plethora of alcohol that I have, and I'll go over and I'll like back to the table, the
Okay.
table where
So you
Rondi is
have
with all the people,
yeah.
and I'll just give them the
So
rest of
you're
my alcohol.
sloshed, coming up with two gallons of beer. So you're just doling it out to the table there.
Yeah, like, yeah, you guys seem like drinkers here, yeah, and I'll just like pour all of them, and then just like leave the rest in the middle.
Oh, the hospitality in this country is so refreshing. And Carrick's like, I like this one. The dogs start like just weaving in and out of your legs and almost trip you over. The guy in the back just kind of nods, looks at his beverage, and returns his attention to the room.
At some point, once the conversation dies down, I am going to start playing some songs that I know from the Bacchus River, if they seem interested in listening to music.
Actually, as soon as you start, like, I assume you bring out a lyre. Yeah. So, the older man who's introduced himself as Poe, pulls out this sort of like hexagonal accordion type thing and begins like lazily playing along with you. And then Carrick actually seems to know some like really old Cossack lines that go to some of these tunes. So there is like a small like you guys haven't rehearsed, but there's a little bit of a jam session going on, and the thinner younger man seems to abhor the fact that he has to sit here through this. But the other two
When
seem
you
quite
say
jovial.
the younger,
Carrick is also the man with the pointed beard and the long ponytail. Yeah, Carrick is actually getting fairly sloshy. Jax, what are you up to?
After I leave the alcohol, I'll go back over to the woman.
So, are you ready to leave, or did you have more to take care of?
I'm ready to leave. Actually, first before I do that, I'll go and like give all my valuables, my bag and valuables. I'll just go ahead and give those to Arandi to hold.
Okay.
I'll just
Arandi-
give him back like 20 gold. Just like kind of slip it into his pocket and pat his pocket and be like, "You might need this, love." And then as I do, I'm gonna like look back at the black-haired pointy beard man and just give him a quick wink, and then continue just carousing.
He kind of scoffs a little bit. So you're leaving. The woman introduces herself as Sherry, by the way, Jax. And begins to take you out about the town, which we will return to in a minute. So the two of you in the kitchen / bunkhouse of rules. This has all happened kind of while you guys have been talking.
So, do you think you're able to help or look into it at all?
I think we've got something to go on here. I think, so far as I don't know what you think, but I think the mayor is probably our best bet, or checking, see if we can get aboard their ship to see what's going on there.
Agreed.
Roll me 2d6, one of you, real quick.
Yeah.
Roll better.
I've been rolling like shit. What are you talking about?
You also get the most natural. I know it's D6s, but the most natural 20s I've ever seen a person get.
So 5 and a 4 for a total of 9. I don't know.
See there? I think those are pretty good rolls. So
What was the first roll that you rolled?
Shit, I just X'd out of it. It was a 5 and a 4. Yeah.
Interesting.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Is there a way to see a history of your rolls somewhere?
Yeah.
yes.
There should be a roll log in the game log at the top
Yeah,
of the screen.
it's here. I'll take a screenshot real quick and send it to you.
It's red and it looks like a little text thing.
Are you in the app or are you on
I
the
see.
website?
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was a 5 and 4. That's what I just wanted to double check.
Cool. Good to know. Good to know. Somebody write that down for me for later. But yeah.
But yes, I think we can do that. Take a look into this. Do you know what the mayor looks like? Could you describe him in detail for me?
He's a average height, portly fellow, clean-shaven face, wears a wig, nice clothes, kind of a round nose and face.
And in your opinion, do you think he's trustworthy?
Oh, he's a fine gentleman. He's just not much of a spy, really.
That makes sense. All right. Do you think that he could be bought out, so to speak, such as my friend here was saying?
I think blades are cheaper than coin. It wouldn't be hard to bargain for the town with a correctly placed threat. He's not the most steadfast man. It's caused problems in the past.
My voice is going out. I apologize.
All right. Yeah, I think we can look into this. I'll just look at Cerberus. You need to be careful. I'm not sure about this Skarsgård fellow. I think he was eyeing us, but I don't know. We need to be careful how we proceed from here.
Oh, absolutely. He's also, I mean, he seems directly connected to the ship that might be causing the problems. And isn't he the person you're? I don't know who is in charge, but that letter, would you give it to or something.
Yeah, I'm supposed to give him that letter. I don't know. I'm trying to think about working on a way to reseal it, but I don't know. We can get to that later. But I agree. I think we should check out their ship if we can.
Brule, do you happen to, like, is there a comprehensive list of those who've gone missing, perhaps?
Unfortunately, a lot of those who've gone missing or the sick or just people from outside of town. The wall doesn't go around the shanties and sea shacks, but a lot of the people that went missing from there. Some children, I think. What are the names? The Thimblefingers, I think, had a child that went missing. They were on, they're tailors. And you might talk to Madame Grada, I think, had a few girls go missing as well. Or you could talk to Sherry outside. She works there.
Hearing the name that overlapped just now, I am gonna communicate that to Jax and be like, it sounds like she knows. It sounds like she knows something.
At the point of this conversation, what's the range on your
A mile.
psychic whispers? It's a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not within a mile.
It's been more than 20 minutes. How long has it been? Do I even still have psychic whispers up?
You're coming to the tail end of it now.
I'm a mile away, huh?
Yeah, it
She
takes.
seems to be walking you pretty avidly south.
Yeah, it only takes about 20 minutes, I think, for someone to walk a mile on average rate.
Yeah.
So, wouldn't take that long, unfortunately.
I didn't think this town was that big.
It's not
It is indeed.
huge.
It's just not nice.
Oh,
Hey.
before we go, you mentioned Martin, I believe. Is he still here?
I haven't seen Martin in about 3 or 4
Oh, that's
days.
right, that's right. All right, thank you.
You can check his house, but it's past the wall. I haven't been able to check on him.
All right, I think we've got everything we need. Yeah. I don't know what...
Question, if you don't mind, Brule. The Loradian ship in the harbor. What's the story with that?
Oh, not entirely sure. We had a few strangers asking questions in town, but they seem to have run into as much trouble with the guards as the town has. Can't leave. Looking for someone.
Did they give names or just a description?
They were looking for. They gave me a poster, actually.
He rummages through like a stack of old mail that hasn't like been gone through. He does pull out a paper. It's essentially a wanted poster of a man with dark hair and beard, short, pointy ears, a Loriadian elf. It does look familiar. Go ahead and roll a history check just to see if you can connect this to the
11.
individual. 11, yeah. The poster reads Baylor Lenyagat. It is a picture of the instructor from the school. Said for wanted for crimes of war, terrorism, and treason. And then there's a list of like minor incursions, including arson and.
Can
I'm
I,
sorry. What was his last name?
So there are most of what Dan says are what would be considered the common pronunciations, but because I have a fully developed Loriadian language, it's Lenyagot.
And I'm saying this to Cerberus. I'm sorry, what was his last name?
don't worry about it.
And then I continue playing. Like,
But yes, it is my last name as well.
I'm just gonna give you an eye.
Can I keep this?
Yeah, I've no use for it.
That son bitch, and make sure my my collar is folded down. We're in danger.
On multiple fronts.
I believe they gave names as well. If you need to get a hold of them.
I actually have to look at notes from March from years ago. I forgot their names.
All we know is in a different timeline, a murder was committed by a dragon man.
Yeah.
Oh, there were two Dweilsra.
which you know Dweilsra are essentially like the Judge Dredd of Loriad. Like they have legal authority. They have an agreement with this country to be here. So they have some amount of jurisdiction on citizens that don't belong here. But they're like judge, jury, and executioner, like on spot. So they're hunters.
But it was Dweilsra, Jedis, or Elzras, and his assistant, I believe his name is Belray. Man and a woman.
It's all just coming back, man. It's all just.
It's hitting hard.
That's the point. That's the point of playing the same campaign in different timelines over and over. Is it the weird stuff's gonna happen?
Also, Cerberus, I'm gonna look at Brule as well. I know you mentioned potatoes, but we do need some kind of a cover coming back out of here.
All right, I do have potatoes. Do you want to purchase some potatoes?
I mean, not particularly.
No, then the potatoes were not good enough.
This is true. Oh, I can work with that. Alright.
All right. So he turns and opens the door.
Well, I'm sorry if the potatoes weren't good enough.
Oh,
Just have
fuck
your assistant
you,
check the
whatever.
quality
God,
before made the order.
you can't expect a
Get out of
top-tier
my
chef
bar.
to come here and get shitty potatoes. How can you make a good dish with shitty potatoes?
Hi.
I make plenty of.
I'm not
Not
talking
loud.
about you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
no. I'm sorry, lads. Give me just a moment. Salfarius.
Roll a deception check with advantage against Scores guards.
Before I had walked out, could I have cast guidance on myself? Yeah, because I have a 0 to
Sure.
my deception, so.
I'm gonna, if I can assist, I'm going to try and assist by saying, he's such a drama queen. He's been talking about these potatoes forever. I told him they're just potatoes. Like, really, where is a potato gonna taste any different than just a potato? Like, you know these people. It's just ridiculous.
11.
DC's 13. Oh shit.
And
Yeah.
is it to me that he's lying that he's like making a scene badly?
You can't change the
I'm not
outcome
trying
of the
to
roll.
change the outcome of
Unfortunately.
I'm trying to create a new outcome by myself.
I know. So yeah, you guys, Brule kind of like ushers you guys out of the bar. In this sort of ruse, and then like slams the door behind you, and you guys are out in the street, and that is where we're going to take
Am
a
I
quick
in
break.
the street?
Everybody, have a snack. Yes. And we will come back momentarily. But yeah, sit tight.
clarification for me. So there were mercenaries that came from the north that attacked, right? And then bugbears attacked, and then the guards currently came from the west, right? Is how that happened.
Yes.
Cool, cool, cool. Just want to make sure I had that right.
But yeah, you guys are all ushered out on the street. What would you like to do? Arandi, mark off a gold for the booze that you were help funneling into Carrick, by the way.
I marked off like 35 gold because I put 20 gold down drunkenly for the ones that I took. So
Yeah. So actually, we'll start with Jax. So you were led a little bit around town. She's like, so this is the docks. We put boats here, and up there on that hill is the apothecary. There's a lovely lady that works there. She makes all kinds of things. I've never been. I don't need medicine. And if you go down that way, there's blacksmith over there. It's really loud and annoying. And then over here, and so she leads you to this kind of square of buildings. It's almost like they're like really closely butted up against each other. But there is an opening, kind of like an arch, like a garden arch. There's like a garden arch that leads to another large building that's really blocked in by this block of buildings. The building is very loud. There's this sort of semicircle of steps of wooden steps, almost like a stage that leads up into the building proper. And she says, "So this is Madame Grata's. It's changed a little bit over the years, but it's home for me. You should come inside. It's really pretty interesting."
aye, okay.
Okay. She leads you inside, and it's warm. There's a darkly lit interior. And surprisingly, you were expecting kind of like a tavern setup, like low roof, floors above. The interior of this space is almost open, like almost up to the roof. It's essentially one singular room, at the back of which is a large raised platform, like a stage, and tables kind of surround. And there are all manner of people kind of lazing in here. There are men and women just serving sailors and townsfolk and people of that nature. There are a handful of sort of ragtag-looking bards kind of set up on stage, just plucking and stringing. But this is basically like a medieval, somewhere between a maid cafe and like a jazz lounge. And she kind of takes you over to a seat. Says, "Can I get you anything?"
Yeah, take an ale, I guess.
All right. Anything to eat? We have a fairly decent cook here.
Just to be clear, I put all of my stuff in Arandi's pumpkin. Yes.
Except for 20 gold.
True. True. Okay. Including my sickle, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. What?
Now the guard let the sickle go. Why are you not? That's fine. But yeah, no, you have 20 gold and nothing else to your name. Your clothes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you have to eat?
We have, well, I'll be honest, it's mostly fish, but we do have a lovely roast, or broiled. You know, I could ask. I really don't know. They mostly just give me things. And she goes into the back and brings out. It's actually kind of a strange creature that she brings to you. At first, you think that there's like a large dead spider that's been put on your plate, but it's really this like kind of like a grayish blue crab, but it's enormous. Um, and then she pulls open the top of the shell, and there's almost like a seafood kind of like medley that has been like put in the top of the crab shell. And you can see as she walks back from the kitchen with your ale and your food, there's like a small green head that peeks around and watches the food go out and like shrinks back a little bit. It's like about 2 feet up off the ground.
And so then she's back here now.
Yeah, she just takes a seat next to you. She has like a really thin fluted wooden, almost like a goblet filled with some kind of liquor.
I thank you. Is there a place for you as well, or is this just for me?
Oh, I ate earlier. It's fine. So what brings you into town? I heard from some of the townsfolk that you and your friends came in fine horses and lots of equipment.
He's
I
got equipment.
yeah, we're just passing through, and thought we'd stay here, see how the townfolk are, maybe poke around, see what's happening. What can you tell me? What's happening around the town?
Oh, nothing really happens here. The wall went up. That was a big deal. No one's really left since then. Yeah, that's about it.
Why did you put up a wall?
Oh, some kind of bear bugs or something. I think I slept through it.
I
They didn't get to me, so that's fine.
what can you tell me about those silly chaps in the bar? Like I think Scatic.
Oh, what do you want to know?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to gauge the people. Yeah, who are they? What do they do?
Well, they're sailors. They have that big boat. Um, they mostly hang out either at Brule's or here, or the Odd Pigeon Tavern. I think they mostly drink at the Odd Pigeon Tavern. Um, the handsome one, uh, he has I think a lady in town somewhere. Not here, but some of the girls talk, and we're fairly sure it's one of the shopkeepers. I can't remember. This was gossip that had been passed around weeks ago. Um, he's not very friendly. He doesn't speak much. Um, the other two are Orion, though. Uh, especially Poe. Poe is excellent company.
Hi, so there's Poe, and then there's uh what's his name? Caddick, yeah. And then what's the third one?
Derek's? I believe. I don't think I've ever caught his name. I think he's the captain. I think everyone just calls him Captain. It's kind of debonair.
And it's his wife, yeah, who you were talking about? Or his woman?
The captain's wife? Yes, he has a lady friend. Or a man friend, maybe. We're not sure.
And where can I
He's
find
just been
this?
seen leaving. Well, we're not sure who it is. He's just been seen leaving the ship at strange hours.
You talking about the woman or the captain?
The captain.
Okay. Interesting, yeah. One more thing. So the guards outside, is that you just have guards? They don't really look like guards per se. They're just kind of weird. Is there anything?
Well, they didn't live here before, but they're good for the economy.
I am picking up what you're putting down. I guess, yeah, yeah, they're good. They, good for the economy, which means they protect. I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah.
They spend a lot of money here.
You mean the town, yeah?
Right.
They all have protection.
Well, this food is great, yeah. Can I have another ale by chance?
Certainly, I'll go get you something from the back. She heads out. Um, before she comes back, uh, someone else sits down next to you. You feel the point of something kind of lock up behind your jaw. And you hear a voice say, "Now, don't turn your head. Don't move. And just act like everything's fairly normal. And let's have a conversation. Just you and me. How does that sound?"
I mean, I sure.
Right. So you're asking a lot of questions. Why are you in town, little man? You hear this weird sound. You don't move, but you hear this weird sound coming over, like, from the table. You hear,
Well, first of all, I'm not little in all the departments, so just to work here. And yeah, I don't know. I'm asking questions because I've been drinking. I had one of those big like barrels down at Bruce's place. I'm drunk. I'm drunk, drinking, just asking questions. Do you not ask questions when you're drunk?
I ask questions from the right people in quiet tones. Your friends at the bar, they're a little noisy. You're all here on some kind of business, and I'm interested because I have business of my own.
Hey, business. What's business of yours?
Have you? I just want to know if you've seen someone. You're poking your nose around. I'm interested in finding someone.
Who are you looking for?
Looking for an elf with white hair.
An elf with white hair, huh? For what reason?
He's a traitor in a turncoat, and I've been sent to bring him back so that my people can offer him a trial.
Do you have a name for this individual?
His name's not important. He's fairly striking. Dark skin, white hair. Have you seen him?
I mean, maybe not. I see a lot of people. I'm not sure if I can, pinpoint one right now. I'm a little hazy in the head. Maybe we can talk again when I'm not, drinking.
Well,
So never.
if you need me, if you or your friends happen to recall a detail, just look for a sea rat down by the docks. You'll find me. And then the knife pulls away from behind your jaw.
I'll look over my shoulder where I anticipate the person being.
You just see a hooded figure like walking away from your table. You do see something strange. You see like shadows on the floor moving behind him, like following him.
Yeah, I think to myself that was a little weird. Where's that lass? I'm just thinking to myself, where's that lass at?
So you hear this sort of waddling. sound, like of feet. And a large tankard is kind of like making its way towards you. All you see is like the tankard like floating to you.
I
And then,
believe.
it stops and hovers like a foot away from your hand.
I grab it. I grab it and like look behind it.
As you look behind it, you see this large bulbous green head with these like big saucer-like yellow eyes. It's a goblin. Just sort of standing and looking at you.
I thank you, I guess.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
You're welcome. And he sticks his hand out.
I'll pull out a silver piece and give it to him. Wait, I don't have anything. Wait, I don't have silver. I don't have
You
silver. I have gold.
You have gold.
I'll pull out a gold piece and give it to him, I guess.
Same response. I'm not doing it twice.
How was the food?
Aye, the food was good. It was good. Obviously, it was seafood, so it was fishy, which I expected. Aye, it was good.
That's good. Do you want some more food?
I no. But you can go give me one more of these, and I'll start drinking it.
Okay.
Walks away. Meanwhile, the rest of the group. What are you up
So, do we know where Jax went? Probably not, right?
You don't have a general direction. He left with a lady.
Oh, I was talking to talking to them, just out loud.
Oh, sorry.
Good.
I don't particularly know. I was just trying to keep the conversation rolling and the ale flowing at my table, which thanks for that. It seems like that's a bust, so that's money out of my pocket. But I don't know where Jax went. I think that I might be heading out to the other side of town in a little bit, but yeah, since it looks like, and I'll kind of like look through the window and see if I can catch the eye of any of the guys that I was talking with, carousing with.
Make a charisma check.
Natural 20, 24 total.
Yeah, Carrick is faced towards the window anyway, so you kind of catch his eye as he's like taking a drink, and his like eyebrows raise up.
Or something. I'll like wink at him and
His large, bushy sailor eyebrows kind of waggle up and down. And then he slams some gold on the table and saunters out to the door.
actually, yeah, I think I'm about to head out for the night. But yeah, I can't tell you where to find Jax. He went off with a very heavily painted blonde though, so perhaps you could look toward the docks.
All right. Well, just be careful and have fun.
Always do.
I guess we'll meet back up once we're all done. Here? I don't know. Are there rooms available here?
There might be. You might. Well, I guess you guys can't go back in and ask Rule for a room, but there might be some cheap inns or something down by the docks. You know, near the sailors' boats. I guess that's what we had on the Bacchus River. Was near the docks. They always had a bunch of like really cheap inns and stuff like that.
All right then. Shall we take a stroll, Cerberus?
Might as well. I want to see if we could possibly just investigate the guards a little bit more. Maybe just watch some movements, see how they act.
Oh, Cerberus, did you still want me to? Is he out yet? What's his name?
He's kind of walking up to you around the building.
Okay. Did you still want me to get that focus for you tonight?
If you'd be willing to do that, absolutely.
All right. Is there anything else that anyone else needs from that area?
I mean, I'd like those swords, but I can live without them.
Yeah, they're pretty noticeable. They might be missed. All right. Well, I'll see what I can do. Just be safe, guys.
You as well.
And then I'll turn around and I'll say, Carrick, so good to see you again. I'm sorry that I had to leave your company so early.
Oh, it's perfectly fine, my dear. Care for an evening stroll?
Oh, most certainly. I was hoping that we could continue our conversation. It was just absolutely fascinating. I don't get to hear much about the high seas.
Well, I'm not much of a storyteller, not nearly as much as Paul, but I have some chapters you might find interesting.
He kind of like throws an arm around your shoulder and begins to like saunter away east.
Oh, indeed. I'm sure I would like that. Most certainly. Or something.
So, guard duty. What are you guys trying to find out?
I personally would I want to just see how they interact with the people in general. Like, do people seem to respect them, or are they just more of a fear-based guard?
And then to follow that up, maybe any like possible rotations that we can take note of. Yeah.
All right, roll individual investigation checks. Cerberus for the relation with the town, and Zelfarius for
17.
rotations. 17.
$15.
Strangely enough, the guard and the townsfolk don't really seem to interact. There are instances where there are like an old woman trips. The guards don't rush to help her or really notice or interact. There's an instance over the course of the day where two guards are arguing or fighting with each other. The townsfolk don't even give them a wide berth. Like they don't. There doesn't seem to be a direct friction between the two parties. As far as rotation, they have a rotation at about 5 or 6 in the morning, and then again at about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So there are 3 shifts of guards, and it, from what you can tell, just based on that as well, a lot of the guards seem to live either in the shanty shacks and seaside shacks, or stay at the Odd Pigeon Tavern, which is a tavern built on the side of the docks. During your investigation, you do come across 2 strange individuals who come up to you. They wear sort of angular cut, militaristic silver and blue, like gambesons, almost like padded garments, with these really kind of light, opulent white and silver, almost like a tabard or like robes over top of that. The man wears like a nice silver circlet, and the woman has an amulet around her neck. They're both very similarly. So most of the elves and half elves that you encountered are dark skinned. They have either tied up like colored hair, or they have like Ost has like free flowing white hair. These are broader, not quite dwarven broad, but broader, squarer, shorter eared elves with dark hairs in the browns, reds and blacks. These two have specifically very straight black hair, and the man wears a beard, which is also something that Delians can't do. Like they just straight up can't grow facial hair. But they do approach you. Hello, we are new to your country. They kind of look at you, Cerberus. We were wondering if you had seen this man. And they hold up the same pamphlet that you already have. He is a fugitive from our country who has escaped down to this, we believe, to this country, and we are looking for him in the area. Have you seen anyone's description?
I'm gonna you know how old people, whenever you try to hand them something, they or show them something, they immediately grab it and peer at it. I'm gonna do that. No, I can't say I have.
Go ahead and roll a deception check.
Can I tell that they are Loradian?
Yeah, you have a pretty decent sense of that in and of itself. Specifically Ost's family also had contacts in Loriad.
I don't want to press, but 9.
No, I'm sorry. I've not seen this person before. Is it pressing? Is he dangerous? Do we need to be?
He's incredibly dangerous. We have reason to believe that he is potentially organizing a criminal syndicate that he was affiliated with. If you do see him, I would give him a wide berth. Our ship should be docked here for the coming months. If you have any information, if you could get word to this town, myself and my assistant will be leaving as soon as we can decipher the strange hospitality of your country and are permitted through the gates. He looks past you to the guards. You don't happen to have any insight as to what is impeding our path, do you? We have all the necessary paperwork. We have letters from the family in Sarmore. We have business here. We don't understand why.
I'm gonna look around. Is there anybody? Are we out in the open, or are we kind of?
Yeah, they're just walking through talking.
Is there a nearby, a little place we could kind of duck in?
Yeah, probably.
All right, I'm gonna kind of cock my head in that direction, and then once they all come. So, we're here actually investigating something ourselves. We believe there's some foul play. We could help each other if you're interested. You could help us uproot this presence here, and then you would be able to move on and do what you need to do as well.
That offer is tempting. Unfortunately, our jurisdiction in your country is under an intense amount of scrutiny, so there's very little we might be able to do to help other than bearing witness to something. We can't interact violently with people protected under your empire. We're looking for one singular person. We must be very careful. We are like Scalpel.
All right. I think we can still work with that. You seem like you're pretty good at gathering information. See what you can find, if you can. Anything out of the ordinary. Anything shady.
Shady. Then his eyes look back at Cerberus.
I'm glaring at him.
Am I missing something between the two of you? Do you know it?
He actually he starts speaking, and it's Elvish, but it's like, have you ever listened to someone with like a
It's a
deep Irish or a
dialect
deep
of,
Scottish accent
yeah.
to the point where you don't actually, yeah, you suddenly can't understand what he's saying.
Wah, wah.
It's interesting that we find you so far from home,
I
brother.
can say the same to you. Switching. I don't have the thick dialect, but it's switching to Elvish.
So what brings you so far south?
Well, I don't really think that's any of your business, but I was imprisoned, and a fellow from this country took me under his wing, and I've lived here ever since.
I admire your ability to understand so specifically what my jurisdiction is. When I go home, I'll be sure to make note of this so that the necessary actions, if there are any, are taken if you need retrieving.
I've been through this already. I have been cleared. It is. I was let go by the lord of my village, so you can take your threat and shove it up your ass.
Very well. It's good to see familiar ears so far south.
I wish I could say the
And
same.
he switched. No, nothing in between us, seemingly. But we will keep an eye out for anything suspicious. And where might we get a hold of you if we so need to?
Well, we're not sure where we're staying at the moment, but you could probably find me pretty easy, considering.
I would hope it would be more amicable than that, but you make a fair point. We'll get in contact if necessary. Come, Belleray. And then he turns around, like on his heel, just swivels in spot and begins to march himself off. Uh, you notice as she was standing behind him, as he turns around her, she's kind of looking at the both of you strangely. There's like one finger that has like traced up to her neck. So yeah, as she was standing there, there is one finger that has kind of traced up to her neck, and as she as he turns around and she's revealed, her hand drops, and she just looks at both of you for a moment and then turns around and walks away.
Did we feel any magic during that?
No, no, it wasn't on the amulet, which hangs much lower. It was like on her neck and throat.
By the way, Jordan, in Elvish at one point you did hear on my end, "Shove it up your ass."
Yeah, it did that thing again. I missed what you were saying because I didn't see when you So, yeah.
Oh,
I think I got most of what happened, but um, and are they leaving us now? Is that what happened?
they're just walking away, talking to more townsfolk.
All right. Spill. What was that about?
I'm gonna point at my skin tone, my hair color, and then point back at them. Like, do you really gotta ask?
Well, I mean, I speak Elvish, but that was a different dialect, and I was a little out of it for most of that exchange, but Also, yeah, I meant to ask you about that. You seem to know your Loriatian, but you don't necessarily follow the Loriatian way.
The Laureadian way. Yeah, I'm from Laureate. I'm, that's where my village was, so I'm told, and from my looks, it's pretty obvious. But if you must know, that entire conversation was pretty much, "Why are you here? Do we need to kill you too?"
Okay, so they're on the list now. That's all I wanted to confirm. We need to watch out for them. Okay, good to know. So many things stacking up on so many things. Goodness, can't we just have one thing at a time?
You should also know they are here, like they said, legally, but and you probably know of Laureate, but it's pretty much a militaristic state. It's from what I know, like I said, I haven't lived there in so long, but they're not good people. Everyday citizens are probably fine, but the government, they are not good people. I I do not relish us working with them.
Uh, yeah, Ostis mentioned them before. I know some of their culture and agreed. It's not. They weren't my first thought, offering to create a sort of alliance, but any help is better than no help, and it's one of those keep your enemies close. Not necessarily that they're enemies, but
Oh, no, they are. Keep your enemies close, blow up their ship, possibly.
okay, that's very pungent. Yeah, let's go see if, speaking of ships, what we can find out. Uh, I don't suppose you have any spells for sneaking around like that, do you? Not
Not
without
that
the focus.
I have to have focus, or I need you to donate some gum and an eyelash. One of the two.
I mean, I can give you an eyelash, certainly, but I don't know if I have any gum on me.
It's yeah, gum Arabic, I believe the spell calls for. So unless you have one of those, I'm shit out of luck.
I do have something prepared. I can enhance our dexterity involved skills for a little while if we want to try sneaking around. It's not a guarantee, but at least it will help.
Why don't we just start off with a casual stroll to the docks just to see what ships are there?
I'll be honest, my worry is if we get into a fight, you have no way of doing anything really.
Oh, I have plenty of ways to defend myself. My arcane focus was only for a couple of my spells.
Alright, okay, let's see what fun we can get into then.
Speaking of fun, Orandi, Carrick has kind of touted you around the town a little bit, and kept you in tow for a decent walk. By the time the Laureate conversation is done, and Jax is well into quite a bit of food and drink, it's already getting kind of late. The sun's starting to close. And Carrick takes you down to the docks to display the ship. It is. It's not grand. It's not a militaristic warship, but for a trading vessel, it is actually quite nice. The wood is dark, almost like an ashen color, and a lot of the more ornate carvings on like the railings and things are in kind of like an oaky sort of wood.
But I must say, the view from the bow, especially pointed out to sea, this isn't his accent. This is his accent. It's worth every second. If if you'd join me.
I would love to. I haven't been on a. I don't think I've actually ever been on a proper ship. I've only ever been on, the kind of rafts and sort of little boats that they have going up and down the Bacchus River. So I would certainly appreciate it. This will be a first for me.
So he pats you on the back and begins to lead you up the gangplank onto the deck. There's one or two deckhands that are just scrubbing and keeping things tidy. It seems like a lot of the ship's crew is oot and about. And he takes you up to,
Would you prefer to see the bow or the helm?
Well, I don't really know my way about a ship, so I imagine you should lead the way.
so he gives like a deep grin and then takes you up a small set of stairs to the helm. And it is this big like wheel of wood with spokes. And delicately places your hands on two of them. And the ship is pointed out to sea, and there is this kind of grand reflection of the sun as it goes from like yellow to a deep orange and kind of like pierces, since it doesn't change position, kind of pierces over the water because it's small enough that it's almost like a needle. And he like leans down.
Endless adventure is what they always say. And it's a little bit of bullshit, but it mostly rings true.
Well, your friend certainly had many stories of it. There are so many things that I haven't done and haven't seen, and I kind of like lean back, and I'm actually gonna like my tail. I don't ever mention my tail, but I do have a tail. I'm gonna just run my tail like just kind of up his leg a little bit, like just not like really high up or anything, but just like a caress kind of. I'll say, someday I'd like to have adventures like these myself. Someday, maybe with you. You never know. I might join your crew.
Roll a perception check real quick.
18.
18. So you are aware that as you're talking, his hand is kind of sliding up your back and to the back of your neck.
After I say that, I'm gonna like very quickly turn around and look at him and put my hands like kind of on his chest. I'm gonna say, this might be too forward of me. I'm very drunk. Have you ever been with a tiefling?
Can't say that I have.
And he's gonna make a grapple check on you.
Like a sexy grapple check or like an angry attacking me grapple check?
Yes.
Porque no las dos.
Los dos.
A sexy combat grapple.
21.
And that's against my what, acrobatics?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. 23.
Woof!
Motherfucker, I got a 21. Wait, I'm proficient
so
in it.
his-
Wait a minute. I can add a
You're
thingy thing.
Oh, hey,
Another
yeah.
thing.
Nice.
looks like we lost Brian.
Okay, I am adding a 6 to that. That is a 27.
Woof.
Okay, so his hands close around your neck and the back of your neck slams into the helm like he's trying to choke you over the steering wheel. And you manage to kind of hook one leg around his leg and pull and throw him off balance. He doesn't fall, but he does release his grip, and you manage to roll out of it. He's going to regain his balance and begin to essentially chase you across the small space of the
Time to
deck.
go.
What do you do?
I'm going to say, "Oi, what are you doing?" As I'm like running.
Okay. you hear a slam from the deck below of like wood on wood. And he is going to go ahead and reach out. Let's see. Oh, that's fun. That makes sense. That's awesome. Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and make a. He's going to pull out from nearby on the ship, pull out a crossbow, and take a shot.
Time to roll some initiative.
This is a
That is a 16 to hit.
That's my armor class.
That hits. Flourish. The captain adds its requires to the damage rolls only for the long.
The captain.
I read that out loud. That is 5 points of damage.
All right.
And where are you running? You're on the second, like lifted part of the ship. So you've got maybe 20, 30 feet across, and you're on like a 20-foot square that's above the main deck.
First off, Zelfarius, that healing that we got earlier today, was that temporary HP, or was that just healing? It was temp HP?
Temporary, yeah.
Okay.
For how long?
It's 24 to our next long rest.
Ooh.
I made a biggin.
Okay, cool. So I am going to. I don't want to do it, but
What are you gonna do?
as my reaction, I am going to cast Hellish Rebuke.
Okay.
So it is a dexterity saving throw. DC 15.
Dirty 20.
Gross. Half as much damage on a successful save. So it is 2d10 fire damage.
This is a spell. I'm sorry. It fails.
My spell fails.
Your spell fails.
Shite. All right. Is it my turn?
Is that a spell slot?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you mark that off. It's your turn. Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to. Manifest a psychic dagger.
Okay. You go to like get the psychic dagger to throw. Nothing appears in your hands.
Jesus fucking Christ! Are you serious?
You hear footsteps coming up the stairs on either side now.
How many? Is it like a lot of people or just one guy?
Sounds like maybe around 10 people.
Okay. Well, I suppose I am going to say, fucking hell, are you serious? Why are you doing this? I'm going to remember, and then I'm going to jump off the boat.
You're just gonna dive off the boat.
Yep.
Okay.
Into water, obviously. If it's like right butt up against like some solid ground, I'm not gonna just jump onto solid ground. I do want to specify that.
Okay. I need you to make 3 successful acrobatics checks as you're gonna run across some people who are going to try and grab you. We'll make these a DC 10, a DC 12, and a DC 15 because it's going to basically you're going to basically be doing a cartwheel off the boat.
Okay. Yes.
So,
First
acrobatics
one is a
DC 10.
21.
Okay.
Second one is a 15.
Success.
And the third one is a 14.
DC was 15.
Yep.
So you get grabbed.
Actually, I'm going to
And you
use
feel
a psychic dice. Yeah, you know, the thing.
okay. So you'll succeed regardless.
Let's just see how much, though. I mean, all right, so it's a 19.
Okay. Yeah. So you do like a triple backflip off the side of the ship, and you can hear Carrot go "Gar!" as he like reaches out and tries to grab your tail as it disappears over the side, and then there's a splash and just darkness. And that's where we'll pick up next week. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for playing. And we'll see you next week. Remember to donate to Extra Life to support the show and to help support Cincinnati Children's Hospital. You can see our link above my wife's head at extralife.org/participant/virtually heroes. And we will see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Be safe.